You're on.
Welcome to another episode of the podcast. K9.
One more episode. How we doing, folks?
How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing good. Which are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, you're looking pretty good.
I know.
Looking pretty good.
It's a shirt.
Yeah, it's a shirt.
I do good. I look good in red.
Boy, you're getting looks now.
Yeah.
Second win, how you doing?
Good, good.
Good, good.
Carol, how are you doing?
Miss Carol Ann, how you are?
I'm here.
She's here. All right. I guess we're ready to go, folks.
Yes, we are.
We're going to do some different stuff tonight.
Hi to Kevin. He's doing good too. Kevin,
Yeah.
Got him for can't
Say hello
forget
to you
Kevin.
folks.
Hi, pops. Mom, Dad, up there in the cold,
Armin,
icy snow.
please.
It's like sub-zero over there, and there's snow and everything.
Oh, that's right. They're in Maine, folks. They're in Maine. It's cold.
Enjoy the weather.
So,
It's freezing down here too, though. So it's like
yeah.
it's a freezing 65 today. So
Woo!
we're going to talk about some different stuff today, huh?
Yeah, instead of one topic, we're going to try and go through and show y'all. It's the first of the year. Kind of, we got a little small compilation of stuff, and we're gonna at the end we're going to show you some of the more exciting parts of canine competitions, dog sports, and let you see what you think about our upcoming pro sport trial. We'll show you what the best of the best have to be able to do when they're trying to get a certification for a patrol dog. So, oh, dadgum, I forgot to bring my silent whistle.
Is it yours?
That's tough. No, that's all right. That's all right. We're gonna the second most watched video that I've ever put up has been on the silent whistle. The most is stop your dog from jumping in 30 seconds, I think is the title of it. But I have more constant comments about and questions about silent whistle than anything else we do. So to give you everybody an idea of really, so you can see for yourself how effective they can be, the Acme Company, which is they're the people who invented the whistle, silent whistle. And I think it was like the 1890s when they did it mostly for sheep herders. They say that the whistle can be heard up to 2 miles away in open pasture. I started using them in my car. Well, I used them a little bit in the Panhandle in Amarillo because some of the guys I knew that had some cow dogs were using them with their cow dogs. But I'm going to sneeze here in a minute. Excuse me, folks. And then in my guard dog company, some of you have heard this before, I started using them because you have everything in the guard dog business is unique. So one of the things that can happen is thieves come along, they start cutting the fence. The pros, they carry their own bolt cutters. Some of them got their names engraved on them, fancy. They start to cut a fence. Here comes old Ben or Samson, and they stick their nose out the hole and they go, "Arr!" And the thieves drop their bolt cutters. That's how I know they were engraved, and run off. Unfortunately, they don't take time to close up the hole. So the dog then goes out after them, which to me, that's about $1,000 bill at that time. Just walking the streets of El Paso, maybe going into Mexico. I didn't know, but you could lose. When I started and people didn't know my name of my company, as I went on and put enough people in the hospital, they got to the professionals anyway got to recognizing my signs and staying away. But in the beginning, I was losing a dog a month. And what you do when you pull up to the site the next morning and there's no dog is you just drive around this block, widening your circle, and call. And I remembered the whistle that we used in the Panhandle and how the range it had. Some of the businesses we had were right downtown with all those buildings. Probably wouldn't work that good. But some of them were like construction sites on the edge of town. So I started introducing all my dogs to that whistle. And 30 days in, when they really understood what it meant, from that day forward, I don't think I went from losing an average of a dog a month. I still losing a dog, but I would recover 100%. Simple as that. So I always wanted to figure out a way to illustrate the distance that the dogs can hear these these whistles. And so I sent a copy of this video to the Acme company to thank them for their whistles. And I'll let you guys look at it, and you can kind of get an idea how it works. Yeah, this is a little test we set up with Bart. Excuse me, all the intro boring stuff. We don't do that anymore. The yard that Bart's going to be turned loose in. He likes to follow up where all the cats have been and check it all out. So it's there's 10 foot between each one of those fence posts. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got about 100 foot down this way and 150 foot deep. And so he's going to be turned loose in there, running around playing. And I will be, if you can see it from here, where that orange traffic cone is. And I'm going to count these fence posts between here and there. And I'll give you the head count, or the distance count, so we'll know the distance from the gate to that orange cone. Let me zoom it in a little bit. And you'll see in the video that I'm standing right next to that orange cone, so you've got a marker.
Right up there.
There's my best buddy. So, and if you listen to that video, when I raise my hands when I'm blowing the whistle, the camera that's doing these videos, that particular video is about 15 or 20 yards in front of me. And then, as you can see from the distances of the shot, it's much further from Bart. And you heard, as loud as it was, that a microphone designed to pick up things long distance, what you heard what it heard, which the reason they call it silent. They ain't plumb quiet, but they sure ain't very noisy. So, Troy, what do you think? Should we run that one again?
If you want to.
Yeah, let's run it again, let everybody, and kind of, think of the distance. Oh, the distance, by the way, if you measure, I just measured by counting fence posts, and I believe it came out to 60 something meters, which would be about 45, 50 yards, something like half a football field. And Bart's in a yard where he loves to go play, and there's all kind of sniffs. There are obstacles in front between he and I and the whistle, because he's out in that yard somewhere.
And you can hear there sometimes down the street here they have a place they sell grass, and you can hear the trucks in the background and that machinery working at the same time. You can hear it pretty clear in the video.
Okay, yeah.
So there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of distractions, and you see the effect that whistle still had on him. Let's roll it. Is it already rolling?
It's rolling, yeah. It's up to the point where
without the sound, good. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can narrate some of it.
So you can, like Scott said, you can get an idea, and that's the distance. And when you zoom in as close as that camera, that's a 135 millimeter lens. Anyone that knows about that goes a long way. It's at least 60 yards, at least half a football field. When I raise my hand is when the whistle blows, and the person running the camera, if you look to the left where those seats are, they're just behind those seats. You can see Bart's a lot further from them than the camera was from me.
Well, there he goes.
And I don't know what he was sniffing at the time. I don't know what was distracting him, but I know there was a house between he and I, and a horse trailer. And so The thing I like about that whistle, this is my theory only. We all do tones. We all use tones to communicate. Dogs are more aware of tones than people are. I have a personal belief that your dogs don't come to you when you're calling them a lot of times because they're distracted. You know, they're sniffing something, they were distracted. You holler, Fido, come here, and he doesn't come. You get a little miffed, you go, I said, come here. And you change your cadence, but you mostly change your tone.
It's a tone, yeah.
And when you change your tone to a dog, you change the whole command. You just literally. So what that whistle gives you the advantage, and the great cow dog trainers in Australia, and they are and New Zealand, those are the two greatest countries that are most employed in dogs working cattle. Because they didn't have that many cowboys to work, they didn't have enough people in the outback. But so that stockman got very dependent on whistling. And that's all they use for all their dogs, and the sheep herders too, is whistles. Because the tone never changes in a whistle.
That's what I was going to say. Basically, even in your crip training, like you're doing, you can use a whistle to train dogs also. So basically, commands on dogs, right?
Yeah.
But one thing consistent is your voice always changes. The whistle is always the same. The tone's always the same, right? So
right.
The dog will recognize that. And I think it's a good training tool. I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I mean, voice commands are good, but the whistle is also, it's excellent.
Right.
You'll know if you can change the settings on the whistle. Is there 10 settings on them whistles?
I think it's 10, yeah.
Yeah, so you can actually get 10 commands out, or
you can
more than that, that's straight, but you can go in there and double toot and single toot. All,
you can do,
little Morse code.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got you.
And one thing that I think they should use them in law enforcement, because you have times where you're sending your dog to apprehend somebody or something, and if he gets loose and takes off running, you've got a whistle that he could hear 2 miles away. So he can hone in on where you're at just by you tooting that whistle. And since I started including that whistle in every one of our obedience training customers' packages, I've had at least half a dozen people tell me stories about their dogs getting lost. The most dramatic one, and the first one, was actually a lady who had a Dane and a young German Shepherd. Lived in a nice neighborhood over here in Arlington. And 3 or 4 years ago now, there were a bunch of tornadoes that hit at midnight. And there's nothing worse than tornadoes at midnight, right? Mm-hmm. So she gets up the next morning, and her routine was she gets up, she goes to the back door, she lets her 2 dogs out, the Dane and the Shepherd. She goes in and gets all her makeup and does all the stuff she does to get ready. And once she's ready, she goes back out and she gets her dogs. Well, this time when she walked out and opened the door and called them, they didn't come. And so she called again, they still didn't come. So she steps out in the backyard to discover that the tornado had apparently run through her backyard and knocked her fence down on the far side of her house. And these dogs have been out running the neighborhood for half an hour, at least. So she runs out front, screams and hollers. A couple of neighbors come out and say, what's the matter? And we've got some damage. And she then says, yeah. Apollo's gone. And she says, wait a minute. Somebody said, well, get in the car. We'll drive around in the blocks, And she said, well, wait a minute. She went inside, got her whistle, went back in the front yard, blew the whistle, waited several minutes, blew the whistle again. And she said it seemed like about an hour and a half, but probably in about 5 or 10 minutes, one of the neighbors that was there with her hollers, hey, look, what's that down there? And she looks down, 2 blocks down, there was 2 dogs coming around the corner, coming back to that whistle. So they had heard, this is a typical suburban neighborhood, but these dogs, two city blocks away, around a corner, had heard that whistle and were coming back.
It stopped them from losing their dogs.
Yeah.
Saved their dogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, firm believer in the silent whistle. Especially if you live in the city, suburban area where your dogs could get out, it's a lifesaver. And I did one of the distributors here that I've got whistles from. They have a whole deal on this is not a no bark whistle. Apparently, someone started saying something at some point about using this whistle to keep dogs from barking. It's not a no bark whistle, but what it does do is this: it is so loud to the dog, and remember, they don't hear things at this decibel level in their everyday life. The only time they hear something at that decibel level is when you blow that whistle. So it gets their attention. And if they're barking at somebody on the other side of the fence, and they hear it, they're going to turn and look. The minute they quit looking at the stimulus that caused them to bark, they're going to quit barking. Mm-hmm. So it's not a no bark whistle, but it might help.
It's an attention getter.
Yeah, it's an attention getter. Mm-hmm. So, and the other thing I've used them for, I dabbled with Argentine doggos, breeding them a little bit in my guard dog business. And I had a couple of dogs out on sites. I had one deaf dog that I put out on a real soft site where they just wanted a dog there on weekends. They were in a residential area. And what I discovered was there's not all deaf dogs, but some dogs that are deaf or that have partial hearing loss can hear that whistle at certain pitches. So, if you know someone that's trying to train a dog that's lost their hearing, this could, I'm sure not saying it will, it could be a communication tool that they could use with that dog. Yeah.
Vibrations too, probably.
Yeah, probably.
And decimals. We've already talked about this podcast way back, but
a while back.
We went into the dogs, the hearing, and the sense. You guys got messed up in these cameras. Anyway, so we did that, but the frequency they can hear is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we don't even really know what the peak of it is, So.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Scott. We got some. We're trying to just compiling several things here we can do. We do, besides the whistle, we do a lot of other unique things, and one of them is our decoy school. People call it. We call them agitators. And when I was looking at things to put up for tonight, I couldn't help but notice this one member of our decoy school. We're going to show you. It's a lady. We're going to show you how she started, and then we're going to show you how she progressed, and let you people think, or let you see. We have our pro sport trial coming up, and this one's liable to be in there catching your dogs.
She's progressed more from that. One of these videos, right?
Yeah.
The last one's a year old. 2 years, year and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
The last one.
Yeah, you got a year apart at least video. So
no, this one here is 2 years. 2 years.
2 years apart.
I think it's about 2 years apart.
Okay.
But from that last video, I think we got another year, 2 years still.
Till today.
So, yeah.
Show them, Scott.
All right.
Whoops.
You ready? There she is. There's little Mina.
All right. We got a pup on the one side and a pup on the other side. That's Miss Meaner than Mina.
Is she?
None meaner than Mina.
She came around and she's very attentive and she watches.
Mm-hmm.
And she one day got up and said, "I want to try that." And she got up there. I think she was 6.5 right here.
Yep.
Maybe 7 when she started.
And there's no instruction prior to doing this. She just said, "Let me do it." And she watched that closely, folks. And this is where it's gotten her to 2 years after that.
I gotta restart this.
If you, huh?
Yeah.
Whoops. There you go. I'm gonna replay one time. You can see the sleeve she's using is bigger than she is.
A little rough around the edges, but
yeah,
she does good.
She doesn't do bad at all. Now, What can a pint-sized decoy like that do if you put a tougher dog, grown-up or dog on them, but they've had a year's experience to go? Well, there's my own personal little Bits, we call her. And that's the first sin she's 6 months old there. That's the first sin she ever did. And you can see who I chose as my decoy to catch that dog in that very first sin of her life.
Mm-hmm. I just got to rewind it.
So
she got a good form, and you see once she catches the dog. I missed it. Hang on here.
Should be coming up right
there
now.
There she goes.
Whoops.
She absorbs the catch. See, she doesn't jam the dog or anything.
Great absorption.
Center mass.
Yeah, high center mass on the bite.
Yep. Positioning is good.
She's got a good pull like you do too.
Yep. Yep. Copper's daddy. Yep. You're right.
So yes, I mean she picked on. I mean she watches and she does good.
Mm-hmm.
And she's getting to the point now where she wants the bigger dogs now. She likes to do. She loves to do the puppies, and I mean she flirt poles and everything. You know, she runs the tugs, flirt poles, the wedges.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, at the house, she'll take a dog. I got 3 big dogs. I got two dogies and my Western Shepherd, and she'll go ahead and I'll be in the office and she'll walk by and put one of the dogs in the crate, and she'll put the other dog in the crate, and she grabs the Shepherd and she goes in the backyard and works the Shepherd. And she'll do obedience, and she'll do a little bit of bite work. You know, she has a sleeve. She'll bring the other dog in. She'll take the other Doberman, take her out and work her. You know, so she works 2 out of 3. She don't want to mess with Bo's over there.
Yeah.
But
And so why do I bring up a little kid? Well, we're going to do that Pro Sports trial in April, and we have the security dog division, we have a patrol dog division. But one thing we've done over the years, we also have a training division. If you got a young dog, and a puppy division for younger dogs. But we also did a youth division. Any kid 11 and under, or 12 and under.
Yep.
And over the years, we had a lot of, well, I say a lot, mostly now I think about it, was active duty police officers who brought their K9 on the field and had their sons or daughters handle the dog and put them through their paces. So that all that'll be open for the April 20th trial that we're doing.
we had a few the last time we did one. We had a few kids. Mina was in there, and a couple other kids that came in there and had a few dogs out there. So
Yeah.
it's nice to watch youngins go ahead and actually for children of that age to be concise and work with dogs like that. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, it is.
Most people are playing Nintendo or computer or that kind of thing. So
Yeah, get them off the stupid TV screens that we're now appearing on.
there's something about the kids though. It's natural for them. The dogs react different to kids than they do to. I've noticed that to adults.
You know how they say that kids, when you can take a 6-year-old kid, give them a screen, and they'll go and know more about how to use it than us. You can take that same 6-year-old kid, throw him in the yard with a dog he's never seen, and that dog will do everything that kid asks him. There's a way of communicating that the dogs appreciating kids and kids appreciating dogs. So
You think it's because kids just know they're going to do it, and they're very confident about what they do
I think you're
and
right.
how they do it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they're just going to say, hey, they don't second guess it. They're not hesitating. They're just doing it.
Right.
Yep,
And
that's
they're
true.
having fun when they do it. They're enthusiastic when they do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes a big difference.
Oh, huge. And any dog trainer, almost every dog trainer you go to these days will say, be alpha, be alpha. They never tell you how to be alpha. They just tell you that they are and you're not, right?
Yes.
Well, I think you just hit on the nail on the head, Carol Ann. That's with kids. You become alpha when you act like a leader. The beauty of dogs is they trust people. If you act like it, they believe you. So, and kids don't know any different. They assume that them and the dog's going to listen to them, and the dog does.
They don't get in their head either. As adults, we get in our head and think too much.
Dog.
Good point, Troy. Yeah.
What if that kids don't do that? They just do what they do.
Yeah.
They're good at it.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Also, a kid will build a relationship with an animal faster than an adult will.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you got to build a relationship with your dog, right? We talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs trust, but you just got to build a relationship.
Right.
And I think children are pure, you know, for the most part. But there's the line of communication with the dog they know. So
Right.
there's something there. So
Right.
you can speculate all night, but it is what it is. So
Yeah. You know, you can watch a kid out with his dog, and when he says, "Hey, Fido," he'll just turn around and start walking because he knows that dog's going to follow. And guess what? Dog will follow every cotton picking time.
all right, so
Pro sports.
yep, pro sports.
Yep. I gotta preface this next video. Sharon Blakely down there in Australia, she sent me a thing about this, and she's really into personal protection dogs, and she's done a lot of work over the years, and she will have a fit when she sees this at first deal. This next one combines water. The whole thing about the pro sports is they're set up in scenario-based exercises. And when it comes to the patrol dog, we have so many distractions that they have to have. One of the biggest distractions for dogs is water. So we incorporate water in the courage test for our patrol dogs. But it's not a decoy or agitator in the water. You never.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
You what?
Well, you never catch a dog in the water.
Thank you.
Because you catch a dog in the water and you just put its head in the water and you drown the dog.
That's it.
It's not a situation for a dog
Nope.
to be in. It might happen in real life, but you know the chances of a dog being taken out in the water, you know. So basically, I think what Butch is saying is here, the water is an obstacle in the training exercise.
Yeah. You would send your dog across a stream of water to get a kid snatcher on the other side of the stream, right? But you would not send your dog to attack somebody who was standing in the water. So you see the difference. Water, your dog may have to overcome water as an obstacle. In the KNPV, they throw, one of the things the dogs has to do, they throw stick in a stream that's going down like this, and the dog has to get in the water, retrieve the stick, and come back out to show that they're not cowered by the water. I sort of used, I took a little bit from all the different sports when I was coming up with these exercises. The rule of thumb is if the water's deeper than your ankle and the guy's standing in the water, don't send your dog, okay? With that in mind, we're going to show you what we mean when we say the water is used in pro sports as an obstacle, not a distraction, not as something that you'd send your dog to fight in. Go, Mr. Sinclair.
No sound. You gonna narrate some of this?
Yeah, I can. Let me look at it. Whoa, there you saw the water splash. That's what I mean by it's an obstacle to be overcome. And you can see this little dog, her name is Asya. She's from Denmark. Obviously, she is not deterred by water. Here's another beauty that you have to do. She only come over the top of that hay bale into the pond. And he calls her back. I just went blank. I can't remember. I know the owner so well, but I've just lost his name. Try it again.
Okay, hang on.
Okay, so our agitator's got the dog pumped up. She hits the water. She does not hesitate. She comes right out. She's into the fight, and we're seeing that she is fighting the man. She's not being picked up and petted and all that other stuff. She's in there to take him out. She starts around that way. It won't get her back. She's never seen this place before. He's calling her. She works it out and gets back to her handler.
At a heel position.
Yeah, and all of these things are factors in your score towards certification.
Again?
And yeah, might as well. Yeah, do it again. I'll talk. And remember, there's two things to be done in a pro sports trial. There's winning the trial, and that pays money. There's also meeting a qualified judge's standards for certification, and that's an entirely separate one. That's a certification you could actually use in a case of law. Some people have used them to get their forbidden breed into apartment complexes. So that water is, if I remember right, we had that pond dug about 5 or 6 feet right there where they first jump off, and then it tapers up so they can come out. So that'll give you an idea. That was our finals. That was our championships. I forget which year. We don't always use the water like that. We may use it in different ways. We may have them run through a waterfall or something like that nature. But everything we do is going to be something that you might encounter in everyday life, because we're about certifying serious security and patrol dogs, and we're not going to
for any situation.
Yeah, and we've got to give them those situations so they can show our qualified judges, all experienced handlers, that they're capable of completing that task. So that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. So we'll, just want to say we had some decent videos tonight.
Yeah.
And we might have more of me and progression here.
Yeah,
digging
that's a good
through
idea. Yeah.
maybe
yeah.
every few weeks or whatever. But yep. So we're gonna get her in a suit soon enough.
Yeah.
I got wish the girls a bit more so I can get one she can fit in, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for dropping by and sharing this time with us. And like I'm saying, make it simple tonight. It's all about the dogs, people. And join us next time.
See you next week.